ask you one other thing about, your support of
Israel.
Israel. We talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, thank you. We're huge,
Jews.
I performed there many times. Danny has been there. It's, and you're one of the few that is speaking out,
Well, the thing is the thing is, and that's how you can sound like an expert on anything. You go, here's the thing.
Here's the thing is,
So of course, if you're Jewish, it's a lot of it's how you were raised. Of course, war is horrible, but it's a war that Hamas people they just act like they forget it.
Right.
They said out loud that the guy that designed it goes, we wanted to start a war to put this Palestinian issue in the forefront, and we're going to do October 7th, we're going to do October 9th, 12th, 20th,
Right.
we're going to do it over and over and over until they're gone. So when someone says that, you go, well,
You have no
now
choice.
it's kill or be killed and get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then people on Twitter, they go, and the only reason I said anything on Twitter was I really felt compelled to, because growing up, you go, my dad would say, if Israel goes, we go. So, and I learned a lot of things that I didn't know, like when they had the state of Israel, and they said, well, we'll give them this. There've been, what are we going to do? No country wanted the Jews from Eastern Europe. And they said, well, we'll give them where they originally were forever. And there was a lot of Jews. People don't know the history. They were living there in the 20s and the 30s. They're called Sabra Jews.
Mm-hmm.
The Palestinians, they're not Palestinians. They were Jordanian refugees. They were also there. Right? I was there in 78. My cousin goes, yeah, they're there where they've always been. There's 3 million of them. What I did not know was in 48, they created 2 states. They created a state for the Jews, and they created a state for the Jordanian refugees, who in 1964, Yasser Arafat started calling Palestinians with the PLO.
right.
So now people go, well, if they're not, isn't their country, why in Palestine, why are they called Palestinians? Because he changed the name of it. But they were both given their own state. Another thing people don't mention, what they don't know, the Jews just took the land. No, they had to buy it from Arab landowners. And they had to buy it, and they go, that's not true. You go, oh, well, it is. And there's a Golda Meir, the first prime minister, and she was living in her 20s. She was American school teacher, but anyway, she had to raise money. It's called Israel bonds, raise money for a Jewish homeland.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going, this you can give. Now, it's Arab landowners who said, yes, we'll give them this because it was nothing there. It was sand.
That's it.
And they go, you got to buy it.
And now if they try to sell houses, they can get killed if they sell their houses to Jews.
So, and if you go online, and then they say Israel's apartheid. They have 10 million people in their population. 1.8 million, almost 25% are Arabs, Arab Israelis. You go online, you can talk to the Arab Israelis, and then one guy goes, he's Arab Israeli. He said, how did you become a citizen of Israel? He said, well, my grandfather told us the story. They created the state of Israel, and they went to my grandfather. He had land, and they go, we want to buy it. And he said, no, I'm not interested in selling. So they said, okay, well then, they said, okay, you can keep it, but this is part of Israel now. We're buying, so you're an Israeli citizen. And the Arab Israeli guy is like 30, goes, and you know what, I'm glad. And it's a democracy, and they have
representatives
all the
in
rights and stuff.
and-
They have
Yep.
Arab Israelis in the Senate. They have
Knesset.
one on the Supreme Court.
Have you been to Israel?
What?
Have you been to Israel?
I was there in 1978.
Wow. What were you doing there?
Well, I was 20, and I was with my friend. We had a Eurail pass, and you're going
Sure.
all over Europe cheap. And then we went to Israel, and I have cousins there. And they explained it to me, and they said the West Bank, which they were attacked in a war, and they said, well, they won. They go, if we give it up, Israel's only 9 miles wide, and we can't defend it, and they can cut us in half, and they go drive us into the sea. They can literally do it. And then the whole thing of they go free Palestine. They had a guy in SNL, his monologue says that, and I go, well, free Palestine means get rid of Israel and kill all the Jews and take over. Well, okay, nice. So anyway, in 2005. There's no occupation. They pulled all the Jewish settlers out of Gaza,
They haven't stepped in there
and
in
they
years.
and they
Right.
let them have it. And then instead of building, homes and water and this, they built tunnels. And then in 2007, they elected Hamas, and then Hamas has been attacking Israel forever. And then they finally had a ceasefire for 3 years, and then Hamas broke it again. And where they're saying, they kicked all the Arab, when Israel was created, they kicked everybody out. No, all the Arab nations said, get out, we'll kill all the Jews, and then you can come back.
Right.
And that's just a fact. That's what happened. Now, is Israel perfect? Is all that? No. Is the war that's going on there now, is it horrible? And innocent children, Palestinian children, forget they're Palestinian, they're kids. Is it horrible that they're getting killed and everything? Yes. Jews will say that. They won't say that about the Jews getting killed, but most of the Jews will go, what about these innocent children? Do you think that's horrible and awful? Yes. It's awful.
Right.
Well, what do you think it is that made you
But
speak
it's
up
a
where
war.
we have so many Jews in
It's a
Hollywood
war.
that
The
didn't?
Jews, they don't. I don't know. The thing is, if you have a next door neighbor and they kill half your family and your kids and they go, by the way, we're coming back tomorrow and we're never going to stop till you're all dead. Okay, so then you go, well, it's
What
either
choice do
kill
I
or
have?
be
Yeah.
killed. That's what they said, and they meant it. It's kill or be killed. So they have no choice. So they're trying to get rid of Hamas, but Hamas, they are in hospitals. They are using human shields. They took 250 hostages. When you kidnapped Israelis in America, if there's a war, you hear the Senate talking about kids in their 20s, and they go, well, they talk about acceptable losses, and they're talking about American soldiers that if 20,000 get killed, it's acceptable. It's horrible. In Israel, if they take one person, there's no acceptable losses, zero. They get them back. And so Hamas knew this. That's why they took the hostages and killed all those people, knowing that Israel would come in and get them back. And they knew all this.
Right.
And Hamas, they said to the guy, Sinwar, whatever, they go, what about all this war? They're going to be all, like, Palestinians be killed. Like, he goes, they could, and he says, they could kill 10,000. That's besides the point. That they don't care.
No.
Well, I love the fact that
They
you
could end
spoke
it
up.
now.
I really
well, they
do.
wouldn't end it now because now we go. They know that you can release all the hostages, and they're going to go in and get rid of Hamas.
Barry Weiss, you know Barry Weiss?
And I'll say one more thing.
Yeah.
And I go, forget me. You go, what do you know? You're just a comedian. You're an idiot. You're just Jewish. You're prejudiced. What do you know? I go, all right, fine. I don't know anything. So there's a guy, son of Hamas,
right.
whose father was one of
Speaks
the
out.
founders
Sure.
of Hamas. I go, so, and he's from Gaza, and he was in Hamas. His father's in Hamas. He was captured. He learned Hebrew, and he learns English, and he is against it. And he goes, it's a 6th and 7th century mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to get rid of him. That's what this guy says.
Yeah,
and
he wrote the book. He wrote a
is
book called Son of
Palestinian.
Hamas.
He is Hamas, and he's saying you've got to get rid of them, and Palestinians will be cheering.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think it's horrible and everything? I go, yes. Is
Yeah.
it genocide? No. What Hamas wants to do is genocide.
Absolutely. So you wonder why
But is it horrible? Yeah. Are the numbers accurate of people being killed? No. You're taking it from a terrorist organization. But you go, is one too many? Yeah. Even Netanyahu goes, one civilian death is too many. It's awful. But they're doing what they can to quote, limit it. But you're talking about people in death and war.
so why
So
why,
you go, well, you're not dead. What do you give a shit? I go, well, I do. I have friends that are Palestinian, and I don't have anything against them. I don't care.
Same
if
here. One of my closest friends is a Palestinian Muslim right here, Maz Siam, and we talk and we hang out. And he
No, I have nothing
came-
against
came
any
to my
race.
kids' bar mitzvahs. So why you and there were 200,000 people the other day in England marching for Hamas. Why are these other people don't get it? Why don't they see what you see, what I see, what Danny sees?
Well, there's a guy on because they're ignorant of the whole story, and then I don't know. The fact is that there's always been anti-Semitism, and so at first I was like, God, look at all these people coming out of the woodwork, and are you surprised at the rise of anti-Semitism? I'd say no, I don't think it's a rise. I think it's always been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest sources of anti-Semitism, someone said, well, the Jews killed Jesus, But to me, it's a complete misunderstanding. And when they say the Jews are the chosen people by God and all this. And so my whole thing is that is a huge source of anti-Semitism, because people go, oh, you're chosen by God. You think you're better than everyone else. I had a woman say that to me last year who was a greeter at a hotel. And she got my friend and I, who's both Jewish, a table at a restaurant. And then she goes, oh, you're Jewish? Oh, you think you're better than everyone else because you're chosen?
You still eat the food
and I go,
after that?
what? I go, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And so it's the wrong use of
Did
the
you
word
stay?
chosen.
Did you stay at the restaurant?
Well,
after
yeah,
that?
I was hungry. The food was, when I'm not crazy, it was free, and I'm hungry. I'm Jewish. What do you think I did? Of course,
There's
I
a lot
ate
of
it.
jealousy too, John.
Well, no,
People-
but it's this. This is what I want to say. I think it's very important. This is that the Jewish religion is the only people that don't try to convert anybody.
True.
And so if you said, I want to be Jewish, what do I do? You go, well, go to a rabbi. Then the rabbi, you say, I want to be Jewish. And he'll say, why?
Right.
They go, why? He goes, yeah. And then you'd say, don't you want me to be Jewish? He goes, I don't
No.
care, except you have to. Do you know anything about the religion? No. I go, well, okay, here's a book I give people, like when they want to get, a non-Jew wants to marry a Jew and convert, the wife wants to convert, or the husband. Read this. It tells you about the religion. And then I want you to ask questions. Don't take anything on faith. You have to understand it. So any question you have, I don't care how small, ask. So then they do all that, and then they ask all the questions answered. Okay, so now do you understand what it is? Yes. Okay, now, so convert, and he goes, no, you have to now, not that you're chosen, you have to choose to believe this way. And so what is the first Jews, they were killing people and stealing and this. And so I think Abraham, I was raised Reform, it's an idea, it's an epiphany. The religion is about, they go, l'chaim, which is Hebrew for to life.
To life,
They go,
that's
what is life? They go, they can create all the chemicals of a person in the lab, but they can't make it doesn't live. It just sits there. So what is that spark of life? We'll call that thing that makes something live. That's what God is. God is in everybody, meaning the spark of life is in everybody. And so the religion, it's a way, religion means way of life. You respect everybody, whatever race, color, religion, plants, animals, things with life.
And also it was a rejection of the Egyptian way, which was to death. You know that, as we come on to Passover now. That the Egyptians worshiped death, and everything went with them in the pyramids. And it was all about the afterlife.
In the tombs.
And the tombs. When the
Mummified.
Jews left Egypt, a complete rejection of Egyptian culture was l'chaim, was to celebrate life.
Oh,
The whole religion of Judaism.
what
So
it
it's respect life.
Yeah.
We're all, that's what connects us. We're all one.
Yeah.
And then the 10 commandments, it wasn't do this. It's like, don't do these 10 things. Don't steal, don't kill, don't do that. There was Abraham goes, he goes, you shouldn't steal, and you shouldn't sleep with your friend's wife, and you shouldn't, unless she's hot.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, and she wants to, and they're not getting along.
Nobody's going to find out.
Well, there's that. Well, and it's trying to do the right thing morally in any social situation. And that's what the Talmud, which is questions about the Torah, they go, what about this? But what about this? What do you do in this situation? So like one example we're joking, we're talking about is, well, you shouldn't have an affair. You shouldn't cheat on your wife. And then they go, okay, and they go, but people do. Yeah, but you shouldn't. I go, okay, but they do. So what do? They go, all right, you shouldn't cheat on your wife. But if you do, don't have an affair with someone who lives in the same town as you, because it's sticking in her face, and plus it's stupid. But they're going, you shouldn't, but they do. Or when should you lie? Well, lying is wrong. Okay, you should never lie. But then what if it's World War II and you're hiding Jews in your house, and the Nazis come to your house and say, do you have any Jews here? Well, you do. But if you say yes, you're sending an innocent man to his death. So the religion said, well, all right, you shouldn't lie unless you're going to send an innocent man to his death, which is what you just said, not death, or unnecessarily hurt somebody's feelings. So the first Jews, they weren't Jewish. They were people that have chosen to believe this way. And so I've had people go, oh, you think you're better than everyone else? I'm like, no.
Well, the idea,
What do you-
that's exactly what John's saying is that.
But there's a resentment
when
of
you're
that.
chosen. It's not saying that
Right.
God chose us to be
Because
better
you're
than
better
everybody else.
and
It
smartest.
was chosen to uphold these tenets
Right.
of the Torah.
Right, but it's
not-
people that you've chosen
Yeah.
to do this.
It's
You
an
all know-
obligation.
You
It's
all
not-
know,
yeah.
in Chauvin agents, and they're Jewish, and they're the worst people in the world. They have no morals. They cheat, steal. I mean, they're the worst. And I would say, do you think they're Jewish? I go, well, by birth, but no.
Yeah, they're not
You know,
upholding
and I have a lot of
Judaism, right.
friends. You don't have to. I say you don't have to be Jewish to believe this way. That's just the
Did
first
you-
people to set it down. I have a lot of friends that aren't Jewish, but they're good people and they try to do the right thing
Right.
and they're moral. And so it's not owned by Jews. You know, on the other hand, they're Christian or Catholic. Well, Jesus was a rabbi Jewish, and he said the same thing. So, but it's. And then there's people that are, you know, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in this, but do you respect people? Do you try to do the right thing morally? Yes. So it's not like only Jewish people do this. You know, billions of people do this
Absolutely.
all over the world and different religions, you know.
Well-
but that's what it is. They're not the chosen people. But if you keep saying that I think is a big source of anti-Semitism.
Well, it's in the way that it's delivered. Again, it's chosen to upkeep the Torah. It's not chosen to be as in God loves us more than everybody else. You're chosen as in you've taken on this obligation.
Yeah, but it's not that you were chosen. It's that you have chosen to do this.
Right. The Jews chose to accept it.
Right.
What was
a
the
new
line?
way of
I
thinking.
will.
You're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking
Because
Yeah,
you,
about.
like I said, you can be Jewish, but you don't live this way. So you have to actively choose to believe this, do this.
That the Jews said we'll do it and we'll see what it is afterwards.
yeah.
That's right. So
Well, I think they said we'll do it, but we're gonna eat first
We're gonna have a snack.
soup with a soup spoon, and then we'll see.
gonna do
what kind of soup?
Well,
Do you have a favorite?
Matzo ball,
You take croutons?
clam chowder, not in matzo ball soup.
No, no.
I like clam.
I
I
take
never
croutons
tried
in a
clam
matzo ball.
chowder. I like
What
It's
are
not
they? You like a
kosher. You know,
tomato bisque?
cream. Yes,
I like a tomato bisque. It's a very good soup when it's
but then
not
I
too
like
acidic.
what's the gazpacho it's called? Good.
You know, it's very hard to find good minestrone. I find a lot of minestrone, the soggy
like
noodles. and
Italian
stuff.
restaurants. I don't know where you're eating.
I don't know.
Anyway, well, how do you feel?
I feel good. This is a terrific.
Any other questions?
Well,
Well,
you want to do one topic, maybe?
Yeah, but your take on Israel is so good, and so.
Well,
I just wonder, how do you?
I was there, and you know,
But have you
and
read?
I look
have
at
you studied?
no, but I was
you
in
know,
Las
you-
Vegas last year, and I've recently I've learned more, but I was in Vegas last year, and there were some guys from Israel, and I said, and we're big fans, and they're from where are you from? Israel. I said, let me ask you something. Is the news you see in America about Israel accurate? And they're like, no. I go, so that's what's going on. They're like, no. So what the news we're getting here is not what's
No, it's
going
not
on.
accurate at all.
Nonsense news. Yeah.
And that said, you know, I can't stress enough that the innocent people, Israeli and Palestinians that are being killed, it's horrible. And I see you see videos of a little boy, 3 years old, and he's Palestinian, and the house was bombed, and he's shaking.
Right.
Of course, it makes you cry. It's awful.
Sad, yeah,
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
You know what I mean? But Israel is put in an impossible situation.
Well, Barry Weiss.
If they
said,
don't get rid of Hamas, then Hamas is going to get rid of them. That's
right.
it.
They
I
don't
mean,
get
they're
rid of them, then
murderers.
Hamas
They're going to get rid of all of us. But
And they started Hamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Hamas. If you read what they say, they go, there's this much earth on the planet. We want all of it. This is what you're dealing with. We want all of it, and if anyone doesn't agree, they're going to kill
'em.
What's
all
the
these
very-
people that are protesting against Israel. Hamas would kill them all.
in a blink of an eye.
I mean, it's
It's insane.
Yeah. What was the Barry Weiss thing you were going to say?
So Barry Weiss, they talk about what happened in Israel, but she said, suppose Mexico came over and killed 3,000 children at Coachella.
Right.
What would the reaction be?
I've said that. I go, what if the cartel in Mexico went across the border to El Paso, so it was, and killed the same amount of people as in Israel. So they killed 30,000 people, and they captured 5,000 Americans
no more
and took them
Mexico.
back.
That would
What
be
do you
the end of
think
that.
we would do?
Right, of course.
And then when we started winning, they go, okay, ceasefire. They go like, no.
Yeah.
And so it's whenever, in history, which most of these people don't know, the 73 war, Israel was losing for about 4 or 5 days. And then they started turning it around, started winning. As soon as they started winning, the whole world ceased
Oh,
fire.
hell broke loose.
Yeah.
I know. It's
And
since the beginning of time.
yeah,